Glad that you brought that up. There was something that I saw the other day, and want to get you guys' perspective on it. Um, Let me bring it up.
To a dark skinned partner. 3, 2, 1, go.
I prefer a light skinned partner to a dark skinned partner. I don't play them colorism games over here.
All right. So the reason why subconsciously for me, the reason why I feel that way is, growing up, I was always, bullied for my skin color. I always felt out of place. I was always told I'm not black enough. And when you constantly hear that and you get beat down with that, and you know, you doubt yourself. And like I said, I grew up in a broken home. I grew up in a foster care system, so it took me a long time to figure out myself. And for a lot of times, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I used to hate the way I looked. I was like, I don't like being dark skinned. I want to be light. And I'm just being honest. But now I'm more comfortable with myself.
I guess I have a question. Do you think it's because you look at a potential partner as lighter skinned so that your potential children or so would be lighter skinned so they don't have to go through what you feel like you went through?
Nah, at the end of the day, for me, I'll marry whoever I seem fit. So it really doesn't, to me, matter about the skin color. But I will admit, subconsciously, I do think, when I see a light skinned woman, I actually, look a little longer, or I might linger a little longer, or be a little more interested, just because of, that consciousness that I had growing up. So it's not something that I say that dark skinned women are far unsuperior or light skinned women are more superior. It's just because of the constant beat down and the constant hatred about me being dark skinned and the way I was treated, that subconsciously I do think that way.
Do you feel like you have some sort of like self-hatred because of that?
Yeah, well, not anymore, because it took me a long time. I mean, this started happening, like I said, when I was 6, when I got in foster care. So, but now I'm more comfortable with looking at myself. I'm a good-looking, tall glass of chocolate milk. So,
I would.
So this was a guy that admittedly said that he preferred lighter skinned women, but it's because of childhood trauma that he wasn't looked upon. He got made fun of being dark skinned. And I guess people saying that dark skin wasn't good enough or wasn't attractive enough. And so that kind of maybe changed his outlook on dating and wanted to get someone that didn't look like him.
I can believe it. This is what happens when, again, you're submerged in white supremacy. Where does that ideal come from? Mm-hmm. Where does, again, most of us, all of us up here are black, but I've heard, you younger, you playing outside. Don't be out in the sun too long. You're going to get too black. Mm-hmm. This ignorant shit like that. And you're hearing that you're hearing that as a kid from an adult. So where's the adult learning it from? So this is why I'm saying, once we understand the reasoning, unfortunately, because of a lot of trauma has happened to a lot of us, black people, the trauma and the programming, we have to understand that this is what happened to us. But once we realize it, we kind of have to try to, you kind of have to make amends and fix that. You can't be, and nobody's perfect, but I'm saying there has to come a time where you have self-realization, which sounds like he does now. But I mean, it's just something constantly that you have to work on and be self-aware about, because, you can't go around because something happened to you and your child. And granted, it is true. I'm not downplaying what he felt or what people go through, but we just have to understand a lot of this stuff, where it comes from and why it's happening to us. And,
Yeah,
that's a great point. We got to think about this. We're all adults, right? So
Mm-hmm.
why is it that we are called black and Europeans in America are called white? See, there's a little bit of wordplay involved in that, a little bit of like subconscious meaning behind doing that way. This is all designed this way on purpose, and we can't ignore that. Acting like that's not the case. But the danger of it is, well, the good news is, as y'all saw, the majority of the brothers didn't have no issue with that.
Yeah.
Right. But the bad news is, okay, it's obvious that to some extent we are perpetuating self-hatred upon ourselves, and it's impacting the minds of the next generation. So how do we fix the problem? We got to start treating each other the right way. We can't be, and I'm not trying to sound funny here,
Facts.
but we can't be black towards one another. I'm not trying to sound funny, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. We can't be mean to one another. We can't always be treating one another like we're less than, or looking down on the brother, looking down on the sister, having all these preconceived wicked notions about one another. Granted, it's going to be some bad apples. You got to look out for them, right? But for the most part, when you see another black person, smile, say hello, how are you? Have like manners and treat one another the right way. And if we do this from our babies to our elderly, then we can change this. We can change it, but it's not going to start until we like start treating one another with love and more so compassion and respect. I'm telling you, like, I didn't really get exposed to any of this type of stuff that you guys are talking about until I got to middle school. Growing up, I was raised around like my family, my grandparents, my mother and all of them. Beautiful black family, nothing but love, no real negative energy with any of them. The women, the men, none of that. I didn't see any of that until I got to middle school and went to the inner city a little bit. Then you start being around different types of people and you start seeing like, man, some people are subconsciously walking down a path of self-destruction. They're walking against themselves. And we as black people suffer from this more than any other race of people. And when you look at like the data, it concurs with that. It's because people have this mentality of what it is to be black. To be black, I have to be a certain way. This is the reason why you got these young people in the streets. They think it's cool to be out here walking around, you know, looking stupid to anybody with common sense. You wearing your pants down at your knees, you know, walking around here looking crazy. You look crazy, but to them, they think it's no problem. They think that's what they're supposed to be doing. And see, that's that mental brainwashing that people have to break. And it's so much of that we have to undo and then replant new seeds that can like lead to a more fertile, a better outcome. Otherwise, we're gonna keep hurting ourselves.
I totally agree.
Yours truly, where are you from? Which country were you from?
I'm from the Congo, and I kind of agree with what you guys are saying. Yeah, definitely. When you are young, like you don't know what to do because your mind is still developing. But as you get older, you're gonna start understanding a little bit more. I mean, I got over it a long time ago, but when I was just young, in my middle school, that's when I experienced those issues. Also, I want to. It seems like we are like the most targeted people, especially black. Just when you
Say
say
that
black,
again. You said the most what?
targeted.
Oh, targeted. Okay.
Just when you say black, it is associated with so many negative things. Even if you say African, it's like you associate with uh like a third world countries. You already have that mindset. It's like we are constantly being attacked, um, and we are obviously we are taking it because we spreading those rumors about ourselves, and that's the most painful way that I'm seeing it now. Is like as I got older, and I'm seeing that so many people are just falling for it.
Let me ask you a question because when I played that last clip from Jubilee and the guy, like I said, reminded me of what you were saying. So because you were talked about because of your skin tone, has that affected you on the women that you date? Do you prefer maybe lighter skinned women because of how you were treated?
No, I only did black women. It
Okay.
hasn't affected me as I got older because I got smarter. I kind of associate myself with people who, because I have my both of my parents, so I kind of emulate my parents, seeing them they're still married, so I kind of emulate that relationship with my parents. Um, yeah, that's one of my experience. So yeah,
Okay.
I prefer black women.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
like
Thank you.
even me to an extent, like because I'm an immigrant just like you too. I moved here 6 years ago. I'm from Liberia, and when I came here, I had my even though my issue wasn't about color because coming from a country that everybody's black, everybody kind of look like you. That's not really a thing you talk about. But when you come here, you meet family members and they tell you, stay away from those African Americans. They ain't up to no good. You get those kind of advices and stuff. So like, I had to do my own unlearning some negative shit. I had to put myself in a position to learn and be open to accept certain things that were taught to me, and confront certain biases that I had towards people that look like me. Because like, I think that one of the issue that happens, like, that's why this huge divide between like the Africans and African Americans is like, because when you're from a country majority black, like my name is Vi Chief. Vi is my tribe. My tribe is Vi. If somebody asks me back home, what are you? I tell them I'm Vi. So being black is not an identity. So I came to America and and people was like, oh, you're black. Like, wait, what is that? So it's not that I wasn't aware that the color of my skin is black, but it just wasn't a part of how I identify. So like accepting, like I had to read a lot, learn a lot, put myself in spaces like this to be open to learn from, because I'm here, I live here now. So I have to, and when people see me, I don't have Liberia written on my forehead. So people see me as a black man. And I went like, even now, I think I just started making African American friends. Most of my friends are from Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and these other places. So my bubble for a long time was very isolated and very, that. So even me myself, I'm going through a huge unlearning some of the shit that I've kind of been passed down to me in a way.
Okay. So, is that on the black culture here that you're having to unlearn?
Well, like,
no.
Yeah, mostly, but it's not like the whole thing about black culture is like, I don't like I don't know how to answer that.
I think I'm just gonna say the culture is a little bit out there a little bit. Our culture in America is, I think it's kind of not black people in general, but I just think our culture in America, being in America, in general, the culture is kind of messed up for everybody. That's for my opinion. It's not particular to a race, but I just think the culture in America, we tend to be more free. I mean, I like being free, but I think sometimes free, it kind of destroy people's. We don't have like some type of what can I say? Yeah, just like free in some. Let me think about it a little bit. But free.
Okay, no, you go ahead. I want to get Sayla on here. She's been waiting. How are you?
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
I can hear you.
I had to reboot my computer. This happened with Kay as well when I was speaking with her a few months ago. How you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you been? Good to talk to you again.
I love you. It's good to talk to you. You have the best topics, so I really appreciate it. I hope I'm not too loud, guys. It's not too loud, eh? My audio?
Okay, perfect. You're good. What you got for us?
I think sunlight is the best disinfectant, and I think talking about topics like this brings it to the front. And you reminded me of Beyonce. A few years ago, she came out with a song because people were mocking her baby. Her baby, an innocent, pure baby. All babies are innocent. She released that song saying, I like my baby's hair with baby hair and afro. I like my Negro nose with Jackson 5 nostrils. A baby was already getting that. Yeah, a little baby girl, black baby girl, was already hearing that stuff out in the media or whatever, those chat rooms. People were saying the worst things about a black baby And so I feel like this is ingrained at an early age. And you know, as a woman, Courtney, I don't think that men understand this, but it was only recently that there were makeup shades for dark-skinned women.
That's true.
Rihanna
That's
opened
true.
up that line and
Archangel.
said,
Yes, he did.
exactly, and said, you know what, my sisters, I will get you the shades that you need. They all used to lump us together in NC45 or whatever else. That's a shade for, if the guys don't know, a makeup shade that majority of Black women are supposedly. But yeah, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Tiny little cuts here and there, and you know, it adds up. So I saw this in the manosphere as well. It's exactly what you said, Courtney. If a woman is Black, dark skin, she will automatically get negative feedback, negative treatment, even if she says the same thing as someone else.
Yeah.
There's a hatred. And I'm so sorry, I don't mean to upset anybody, but I'm not convinced, I'm not persuaded. You know, I think that deep down inside, I've seen it too many times to think otherwise. I do see it. I see it. I didn't grow up with it. I grew up in a majority white and Native community. I can't really say where, guys, but I never grew up with that. So it was shocking to me when I first saw it. It broke my heart. It was just disturbing, and nobody really wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
And not only that, I noticed, sorry to interrupt you, Courtney, is that
Go ahead.
if there's a group of Black women, they'll be treated very well. But then all of a sudden, when there's a white woman, a Hispanic woman, and other women around, all of a sudden the treatment changes and they get treated worse. And I've seen this a million times. And it's like, why? What's going on? It's the same thing in a micro, you know, with light-skinned women and dark-skinned women. It's the same thing kind of happening. So it upsets me. I can't ignore it. I will call it out. I wanted to call it out on a different show. I tried calling and calling and calling, but it was full because you got to call in advance. But you have to just call it out and say, what's going on? What is this? This is unacceptable.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like when we talk about darker skinned women, like the makeup, you know, just now, you know, darker skinned women are able to have a hue for them. And so they get overlooked in a lot of different ways, and it gets pushed under the rug. And it's because a lot of, you know, not even just saying Black men are not really speaking about it, or maybe it doesn't bother them because it doesn't affect them as women. But even lighter skinned women, like we know these things happen. I know personally that I've had men tell me they're attracted to me because of my skin tone. And it's because I'm not dark. I've had men tell me that. If you were darker, I don't know if I'd be able to rock with you.
You see?
Still the same person. So I've been told that. So to act like it doesn't exist or to not speak about it, you know, you have a preference, yes. But again, does preference change? Well, historically it has. We talked about, you know, Black men and how that completely changed. But again, I think a lot of this is ignorance. We don't know why we have a preference. We just go along to get along. But then once we backtrack, listen and look and see, you know what? I do have a preference because it's because of this or it's because of that. And understand someone's plight. I'll tell you this, I used to have a preference with men when I was younger. I used to be a little, I'll be sure, let me get a little light skin, curly haired. And when I got older and more mature and understanding more of my culture and loving it and being around Black folks, like I said, I went to a HBCU. The reason being is because I was around a whole lot of white folks and I wanted to be around people that looked like me. And a lot of my perceptions that I was getting about Black people was a lot of TV stuff. I don't think people realize this, and I realized this about myself, that a lot of white people that are not around Black people look at TV and get a perception. Black people do the same thing that are not around Black people. they look at TV. And if they don't have Black
That's a
people
fact.
surrounding them, teaching them how they act and be proud to be a Black person, but be who you are, and they're looking to connect with Blackness and they don't have it around them, they go to TV too. That doesn't get talked about. We can talk all day about white folks looking at Black people and perpetuating the negative stereotypes, and that's why white people look at us this way, Spanish people look at this way. Black people do it too. The Black kids that are not around Black folks, friends, family, and surrounded by people that don't look like them, in order for a lot of them to connect, they go to social media, they go to movies. And that's why a lot of times you look at Black kids that grew up in the suburbs, you be like, why are you trapping? There is no reason why you out there on the corner and your parents are doctors. Because
a lot of times it's the caricature of a Black person, so it's deemed to be cool and exciting. So this is why it's overly done, you know.
Yeah, it is.
So.
And I saw myself doing that again, going to a white high school and working. I was the only Black girl there, and wanting to connect with something that looked like me. And I would go to, different avenues, TVs, and I would be like, okay, well, the dark-skinned Black man, well, he's maybe like a thug. That's all I see on TV, or he's not going to treat me right. So I'll just get a light-skinned dude. They seem to be, sing me a little love song. It could be sweet to me.
So what's he like? What's he like now?
I like some melanin. I ain't even. I like a little chocolate, but I mean,
okay.
I don't. But I'm more open, so I don't look at a man and like, okay, he's this particular. He's light skinned, so he's gonna be a Drake, or he's dark skinned, so it must Wesley Snipes strong. I'm getting a blade. I'm well aware of what I used to think, and are able to come to conclusion that people are people.